everyone, welcome back to JP's Budget Collecting and another comic book history. This is only the second one of these I've done. Yes, and also a third Catwoman video in 3 weeks. I told you guys I do a lot of research for those Let's Collect. It spawned some other ideas for me. So yeah, so we're going to go on and put this out there. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. I recently had a friend. I've been slowly collecting a few of the golden age Catwoman stuff, and I had a friend ask me which books or really should you collect and that kind of thing, and I kind of went down that rabbit hole with him. And in doing the Let's Collect, I realized there was some other stuff that I didn't even realize that was out there. So this is going to be a little trip through comic books history, the history of Catwoman, and through the golden and silver age. This may take us a few minutes to get through. Hopefully this video won't be too long. But let's dig in and see what we can learn about Catwoman and her journey through these early days. So, first up, of course, is Batman #1, her first appearance in 1940. So, we see her here. She appears for the first time. Initially, we see her in disguise. There's this little old lady, Mrs. Peggs, who's there, and Batman's trying to stop a robbery on a ship. Batman and Robin are trying to stop this robbery. And they realize that, the little old lady is actually trying to get away with the jewels after they stopped these other gunmen that were really just a distraction for her. And we get the reveal after they catch this little old lady of Catwoman right here, of Selina Kyle, referenced only as the Cat at this point. And they capture her, and she tries to use her feminine wiles on Batman. And ultimately it works as she gets to escape, and we see Batman there in the middle, trip Robin to keep him from going after her. So she gets away, and we see the basis for the relationship starts right off the bat here in Batman issue #1. She appeared again immediately in Batman issue 2, once again disguised as a little old lady trying to get away. And as she's taking off her disguise, Batman shows up, and of course, once again, because she has information to help them go after the Joker, he lets her go, and she once again. But we see here for the first time Cat-Woman. We get her first reference as Catwoman here in Batman #2. She appears again in Batman 3, so she was appearing very frequently in these early issues of the Batman the Batman title book. And we see her in a costume for the first time. An orange dress with a red cape and a fuzzy cat head. Okay, not exactly what we think of as classic Catwoman, but we actually see her in the book in a more slinky orange yellowy dress with the cat head on. And we get to see, once again, she gets captured by Batman, but this time she gives him a kiss, their first kiss here in Batman 3, and she used that to distract him long enough to get away. Yeah, she's figured him out pretty quickly on what it takes to get away from the Batman. She is definitely, in these early issues, frequently managing to slip away. Batman #10, we get another version of this costume. We still see the cat head here. Now she's got a purple cape, kind of a black outfit, a black cat's head. And we see in this book as she's, fighting to get away, once again distracting Batman by giving him another kiss. As we see, once again, she kisses him and uses that to distract him long enough to get away. Batman apparently not used to being kissed and pretty easy target. So for her to get away, she doesn't appear again until Batman 15 in 1943 now. So we're moving through time a little bit here. And looks like the first cat head, but this time with an orange cape, back in a green dress. So yeah, her look varied a lot in these early issues. They couldn't really decide on a classic costume, at least at this point. In this one, we see her actually meet Bruce Wayne for the first time. And she actually, instead of using her feminine wiles on Batman by kissing him, tells him that she's trying to reform because she wants to be with Bruce, and we see them dancing here. Although this doesn't really completely take as she still kind of ends up pulling some crime here, but still manages to slip away once again. Batman 22 is her next appearance. She's back kind of in that black suit costume with the purple cape. This issue is kind of fun because Alfred is trying to impress Miss Selena Kyle, although I think she's going by a different name. And he actually suits up as Batman to try to impress her, only it's not realizing it's a trap by Catwoman. But ultimately, Alfred in the Batman suit is the one that manages to capture her. Next, we have Batman number 35, the first time we see her in what becomes the classic suit of the Golden Age, although it gets tweaked just a little bit still. But it's the purple dress, it's the green cape, it's the cowl. But blonde, like I said, they were super consistent here in the early days of how they portrayed Catwoman. But yeah, this is the only time we see her as a blonde. So that Batman the Animated Series, when she's a blonde, not completely without some precedent, at least. So next, we get her first appearance in Detective Comics all the way in 1947. This is SU 122, her first cover appearance. And this is truly the first, this is the costume we see the rest of the Golden Age. Green cape, purple dress with the green collar, the belt, all of it. This is the look. And she's also got a sweet ride that in this book, at least, is higher performing than the Batmobile as she uses it to get away. Her cat car outperforms the Batmobile in this book, at least. Next, we get her in Batman number 42, her first cover appearance on Batman. We see her on the cover in that same purple dress and everything, but in the book, a little inconsistency as she's in more of a jumpsuit and she has a tail. The first time we see her with a cat's tail in any of these comics. So yeah, they just like to mess with it. They couldn't really decide, even though the cover is very much that dress that we saw before. Inside, still a little different outfit. Next appearance was in Batman 45. Not a lot to take home here. Just another appearance back in the classic, what we consider the classic Golden Age suit. Just another appearance, another battle with Batman. Batman 47, she basically proving that she is the most fashionable of villains. And yeah, in a designer and using her costume to, becomes an important part of this particular story. We are up to 1948 at this point. We jump all the way to 1950 and Batman issue number 62, and we finally get an origin. This issue is not on the DC app currently, the DC Universe app where you can read these issues. So I kind of found some images here. You'll see that with a few of these lower quality images of the issues. And basically, she gets amnesia, and then through trying to figure out who she is and remember stuff, we kind of get an origin for her. I didn't get to. I just found some of the pages. I didn't get to read this whole story, but yeah, this is her original origin, and obviously on the cover again here in Batman 62. Batman 65 is really just a classic cover of her, and just another story of her trying to, steal and get away with stuff versus Batman. Empress of the Underworld in this particular one. Batman 69 is interesting. We get introduced to the King of Cats. And throughout this book, we see a Selena Kyle that has been trying to reform, isn't really being Catwoman anymore. And we see the King of Cats with hearts around him, trying to seduce her into becoming his queen of crime. Or to be why he's the king of crime, but only we find out at the end that it's actually her brother. And I believe this is the only time we see her brother in all the comics, as far as I know. I don't believe he ever comes back, but yes, it was kind of a weird story. And she basically using him to make Batman jealous a little bit here. Yeah, I don't know if it was just being used to be Batman jealous. Again, this is one of those that I couldn't find on the DC app to read completely, but just there you go. The first and only appearance of her brother. So, she finally appears back on Detective Comics in 203, clear in the 1954. And we see that Doom stole her idea of the looming over the buildings that Catwoman did first before Doom. But yeah, we see this. And once again, we see the cat car here in this particular story. Her final Batman appearance of the Golden Age, Batman number 84 in 1954. Again, just another Catwoman story. story here. And then her final Golden Age appearance, Detective Comics 211, her last Golden Age appearance. And again, the one and only appearance of the Cat Plane, which clearly superior to the Bat Plane because it's got arms that come down and can claw wings. And yeah, so I believe this is the only appearance we get of the Cat Plane. And in this story, basically, she causes Batman and Robin to crash on this island where there's these hunters that supposedly she's in league with that are going to hunt and kill them. But she ends up helping them get away. And as a result, she's able to get away. And Batman is left going, well, we'll get her next time, Robin. Little did they know, next time was going to be a very long time. Catwoman vanishes from comics for 12 years after this because Comic Code of Authority came into play, and it wasn't that she was overly sexualized or anything like that. It was that villains had to be true villains, and they couldn't get away, and there couldn't be a gray area between heroes and villains and that kind of stuff. So that is what got her as a character and why she didn't get to appear anymore. And all these things where she was flirting with Batman, where she was bouncing between, oh, I want to go straight, or I'm going to be a hero, and she would help the heroes, and she always got away. And often Batman let her get away, was what made her not acceptable to Comic Code of Authority, nothing else. So that was why she disappears. She does not appear. We're moving into the Silver Age. So there you have that. That is 18 Golden Age appearances for Catwoman, if you counted them up, most of which were in Batman, only 3 of which were in Detective Comics. So a bunch of books, obviously Batman's 1, 2, and 3, really, really expensive. Her first cover appearance in Tech 122, also super expensive. That Batman 15 and 10, a lot of super expensive books, but not a huge number of appearances, obviously. So yeah, we jump to the Silver Age, 1966, her first Silver Age appearance in Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane, and she's pretty much up to her old habits. She's in the costume, only now instead of a dress, she's got pants. This story is typical Lois Lane stories, a little silly, a little goofy. Basically, she brainwashes Lois into believing she's Catwoman, and together they capture Superman, and yeah. And eventually, the story continues into 71 because Catwoman finds a way to magically transform Superman into a cat. Lois is taking care of him before she gets him back, and Batman captures her. But yeah, this came out right at the end of 66, into 67 with these two. So November of 66 for Lois Lane 70. We were into January of 67 for Lois Lane 71. Her first 2 Silver Age appearances, her first appearances since 1954 after 12 years. Or are they? These have long been considered her first appearances in the Silver Age, but were they actually? This is Batman number 176, published in December of 1965. And it contains a Catwoman story that had never technically been published in a comic book. This book, apparently they like to do an 80-page giant at least once a year in Batman around this time. We'll talk about some more of those later, where they did reprints of previous stories. There's a reprint of a Joker story. There's a reprint of a Penguin story, from Tech 253. There's a reprint of the first Mr. Zero story from Batman 121. There is a Fox, Shark, and Vulture story from that's the one from Tech 253. Batman 70 was the Penguin story. And we get a reprint of the complete Sunday newspaper syndicated story from April to June of 1946. This appeared in the Batman and Robin news strip. 7 weeks of Sunday comics in the Sunday paper that were reprinted in this issue. So this is a story from 1946. It was not a news story. So I would still consider the Lois Lane 70 as her first appearance in the Silver Age. This is a reprint. But it is kind of an interesting book that I did not know about until I did this research. So maybe that's something new for you. So if you're looking for a book, Batman 176, also a cat. She's on the cover, also a Catwoman Silver Age appearance. Her next appearance after those initial Lois Lane stories, so in the proper Silver Age, Detective Comics 369 from November 67, This is her return to the Bat books. She's only in it for these 3 panels you see right at the end of the book. This is right after the introduction of Barbara Gordon. I believe that's her 3rd or 4th appearance in 369. I think it's her 3rd. She teams up with Robin. She makes the paper, and Catwoman thinks she's trying to steal her man. She's like, Batgirl's trying to make a play for Batman. He belongs to me. So he belongs to Catwoman, excuse me. So this is her first true return to a Batman comic. And it sets up in December of 67, her appearance in Batman number 197. So there was a little crossover here. We see her in a completely new costume, this green costume. Still got a whip, got the weird mask, but she is not the villainess in this book. She is trying to be a hero, although she does still have that sweet cat car. She is trying to be a hero. She's helping Batman and Robin catch criminals. We find this is really just a ploy to try to show up Batgirl, and she kind of refuses to help Batgirl until she admits that she's not as good as her when she's fighting some criminals. After they get captured, she's basically like, well, Batman, should I continue to be a hero and save you, or should I return to my life of crime? It's all up to you. All you have to do is say you'll marry me. So she tries to blackmail Batman into marrying her in order to for her to continue to be a hero and not a criminal. He, of course, doesn't. Batgirl explains she's not interested in him, but Catwoman doesn't necessarily believe her in this particular book. Next, we go to Batman 198, and this is more preprints. We talked about this story with the plane and her escape, her final issue in Detective 211 from the Golden Age. That's one of the stories that's reprinted in this particular book. So this is a Silver Age appearance, but a reprint of another Golden Age story. Batman 201. We get a story here with the villains trying to team up to come up with a plan to take out Batman, and of course Catwoman is included in this, in this group of villains in this particular story. Batman 208, another book of reprints. Mostly, this basically reprints a bunch of stories of Batman and the females of his life. So we get a story with Vicky Vale, we get a story with Poison Ivy, we get a story with Batwoman, we get Cat Kane, we get a story with Catwoman here. In this particular book, we're getting Batman 62, so her origin is what we're getting here, but we also get a little bit of background on, how Catwoman became Catwoman here before they go into that particular story. So there's like a narrator, there's an older lady that's narrating it that supposedly knows Bruce, that appears to be some sort of pre-existing version of Leslie Tompkins, but not Leslie Tompkins. So, and then her final Silver Age appearance is in Batman 210 in February 1969. We get another new costume here. We get this black costume with the tail. This carries on for a little bit into the 70s and the Bronze Age. This is going to be the last book we talk about. She doesn't appear again until 1972. She appears a couple of times taking on Supergirl in Adventure Comics. She also appears a couple of times taking on Wonder Woman in the Wonder Woman books in 72. She doesn't actually appear in another Batman book till 74. So I felt like this was a good place to kind of cut it. She does keep this costume for a little bit. But by 75, she's back to that purple dress, the Golden Age costume, and that carries her into the early 80s before we get to kind of the revamp with Crisis of Infinite Earths and all that kind of stuff. But that is your history. Silver Age-wise, you're looking at, I didn't count those silly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books, but 3 of those are just reprints, books with reprinted stories. So 6 new stories with Catwoman from the Silver Age, 18 stories from the Golden Age. So she really wasn't appearing that much in those early days. So with that, that is our breakdown of Catwoman in the Golden and Silver Age. I hope you learned something. I hope you found this interesting. I may try to do a few more of these. I find this kind of stuff fun and interesting. Let me know in the comments. And with that, before we get out of here, I'm going to thank my channel members real quick. Still got 14 members. I appreciate all of them that are keeping the channel going, helping me keep doing this and keep this going. And with that, we're going to get out of here. I want to thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you next time. Later.